This is question 5 for the security market line. You observe the following situation. You have a bust, normal, and boom. We have a different probability. We have returns for stock A and stock B. We want to know the expected return from each stock. And then we have some question about CAPM holds. Stock A's beta is greater than stock B's by 0.25. What's the expected market risk premium? So let's first do, and I've already typed all this in. Let's first do the expected returns. This is probably the easiest calculation. Sum product. We're going to lock those. And I'm going to make this a percent just so it's easier to see. We notice that the expected returns 13.75 and 12.1, our answers already match those. The next part of the question asks for the market risk premium. So if you recall the CAPM model, and I'm not going to do this perfectly because it's hard to do underscores and stuff like that, but the return, pretend that's like a lowercase, the return on any asset I, again this is like a subscript, is going to equal the risk-free rate plus, and I'm going to call this beta, and let's call this I, times the return on the market minus the return on the individual assets. That's a little bit hard to read, and I'm sorry for that. I could do it by hand, but I did not bring my camera with me to Texas. So another way to write this, the return on the market minus the return, I'm sorry, not return on I, this is the risk-free, sorry. The risk-free rate. Another way to write this would be the market risk premium. So return on market minus the risk-free rate is the same thing as the market risk premium. Let's zoom in a little. What we have to do here is use this equation and solve for the unknowns. So what we're going to end up with is 13.75 equals the risk-free rate plus the beta of A times the market risk premium. Similarly, we are going to have 12.1 equals the risk-free rate plus the beta of B times the market risk premium. Those are the two equations. This is the information that we have, and they tell us here that stock A's beta is greater than stock B's by 0.25. So beta A equals beta B plus 0.25. All right, so I'm going to take these two equations and rewrite this. I'm going to sub in for beta A, beta B plus 0.025. This is going to be just an algebraic exercise. So what happens if we draw a line under these and just subtract? So this equation minus that one. Let's make this right-centered. There we go, minus that. So I already did the math on this, but you can do it if you want on your own. It's going to be 1.65 equals, when you subtract the risk-free minus the risk-free, it goes away. So we end up with beta B plus 0.25 minus beta B, and let me add some parentheses, times the MRP, market risk premium. We can just solve here. The beta b's cancel. Our next step will be equals 0.025 times MRP. And finally we get 6.6 equals MRP, and this is percent, so the market risk premium is going to equal 6.6%, which is what we get right here. The way that we need to do this is because the CAPM holds, and therefore we know that we can use this equation. And once we know that, we can plug in the numbers. It doesn't matter here if you do 13.75% or if you do 0.1375. as long as you know that your answer is in units or decimal places, you're fine. But the answer here is 6.6%, and those are the expected returns.